everybody, welcome to my studio. I am going to make a river table. So I got this kit off Amazon and it comes with, and I'll leave a link to this kit in the description below. So it comes with a wooden frame which you just slot together. 4 sides, so slot together as so. And she says, which is actually really easy to do, but obviously not on camera. Anyway, no, it is easy to do. And then it also came with, oh, and then you get this really big silicone mold. I've always wanted to make a table. Oh, and it comes with 4 hairpin legs, which are really long, and you'll see those in a later stage of the video. And it also came with these, and I was like, what the heck are these? But these you put on the outside of your wooden frame, and that's to stop, I guess, the resin from pushing the frame out. So I'm going to do this in a slight, mine's not going to be as thick as this. This is, gosh, I'd say this is 3.5 inches deep. Mine's going to be about 1.5 inches thick. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pour just a base first before I start placing my wood in it. And I've got this from Michael's, which I'm going to place because I really don't want to cut it, and it's slightly too long to go in this way. So and it's got this plastic on. I'm thinking I'm going to stain the wood as well. So I'm going to put this in, and then I've got a smaller one which I will cut in half and place those in the corners, and therefore, you know, the more wood you have, the less resin you use, and the gaps will fill up with the resin. So without further ado, I'm going to get on and mix my resin for the base, and I'll show you what I'm going to do so that I absolutely match the second layer once the first layer has dried. And the first layer hopefully will get rid of these wrinkles, and I think I might use little clips to hold the sides back. So let's mix the resin. Okay, so what I've done is, and we're going to keep this for reference, I took 3 different alcohol inks, and I maybe put those down. I took cups of water and mixed them until I got a combination that I liked, and I like this combination, and that's a combination of this pool colour, which is kind of a aqua colour, and this, which is glacier. So now I've got my resin mixed. I'm going to add the ink to the resin to hopefully get as near a colour as that. Once that layer has set, then I can keep this water as a reference to match the colour exactly once that layer has set. I've clipped the sides back. It seems to be a little smoother. I'm hoping the resin will you know, flatten it out. I'm going to keep that over here. Get rid of the 2 coloured waters that I don't prefer, and the ink that I don't prefer. So I'm going to closely match that colour. Okay, I'm happy with my colour, and this is about 20 ounces of resin. And I think I'm going to pour a tiny bit of resin in this little clear cup, which looks a lot lighter than it does in the water. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. Should I darken it? I probably should darken it a bit. All right, so let me do this in here, because then you can see it. See how light that was? And I worked out that it's a 3-part to 1 part to get the tone of the colour that I want. So let's do, okay, so it really is almost, it looks dark looking down on it, but when you actually put it down, it's almost, so I need a lot more ink. So let's do 12 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which means 4 drops of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how much darker that is. Give it a stir, and alcohol always sticks to the edge. Give it a good scrape. Now, to me that's looking too greenish, so I'm going to add some more blue. Praying I can get second and final layer. No. I mean, I don't mind if it's very aqua colour, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One for luck. Yeah, that's more what I'm looking for. So let me get my little cup. I'm going to scrape out what's in there. And let me pour. Yes, okay. All right to the top. So there we go. That's what I'm going for. That's going to be my base layer of resin. Put my spatula to the side. And, oh, the other thing I'm going to do is spray some mold release. Quick pause of the video there. Right, I'm using M Chemicals Epoxy Mold Release, and because this is a large mold, I want to not struggle with it. So here we go. That'll help. And here we go, first layer. It's streaky. I'm gonna have to mix it in here. I think I'm just gonna pour it all in and then mix it. See, 20 ounces. Barely touches the sides. It's a really big mold. So that's why river tables are not inexpensive. Okay, scrape every penny's worth of resin out of this. might end up doing another little layer. Really hope this will settle down. I'm going to go over with my heat gun. Maybe that'll help the mold relax a bit when the resin gets hot. This is going to take a lot of resin, which is why it's good to use a lot of wood. Let's try and smooth down those creases. Right, heat gun time. I'm going to hang on to that, see if I can smooth things down. I know I said I'd be back tomorrow morning, but I had to share this tip with you. Clip the sides of this, because if you don't, the silicone mold kind of pushes in and creates, I don't know, uneven sides. But if you clip it back against the wood, it keeps all the sides straight. So I added another layer, and then the next thing I did was, where's my pokey stick? I guess I'll have to use another pokey stick. I went around the edges to pop all these bubbles, because you do get bubbles around the edges. So do that. And things kept falling in, which drove me crazy. I'm going to cover it up later. And then I took my heat gun to pop the bubbles. I didn't take my torch because I don't want to ruin this mold. Anyway, that was a quickie. Came back to tell you that, and I really will come back when it's cured. So see you tomorrow. Okay, so the first layer has dried. It's about, I think it's a good 1/4 inch thick. And what I've done is lightly sand it. There were a few little air bubbles, which really annoyed me. So I'm going to be really careful with the next layer. And now I'm going to place my wood that I have dyed. I'm going to have to remove a few clips to get this in neatly. So get that in. And I decided to place it this way up because there's a crack here. And there's no crack on the other side. And from experience, cracks bring bubbles. And I have some, let me get this tape. There's some packing tape, because this natural wood does produce some little bits from the bark. So I'm just going to pick up anything that it might drop off. Not too bad. And here are my little pieces that I cut in half. And I'm going to put one here and one here. I'm going to put my clips back on. And there's another one here. All right, so got something sticky there. No, it's all clean. Now I'm going to mix my resin, which I will pour to make my river. I've mixed 3, well, I mixed a whole bunch of resin because I've got tons of things I'm working on. I always have molds on hand to, sorry, I keep bumping the camera with my head, to use leftover resin. I've got angel wings, a conch shell, a bathtub. So anyway, it's full of bubbles, which I absolutely hate. This now is KS resin. The base, by the way, was art resin, but now it's cured. It doesn't matter if you mix resins. So, and I poured it in smaller cups so that I have more control on the pouring. So I'm gonna, hopefully my big hand, well, if it's going to be in the way, it's going to be in the way. Anyway, I'm going to pour into this channel. And it will seep through. I'm going to let it seep through because I'm going to do a top coat of clear resin. And I have these Grime Boss wipes from the Do It Centre, which are really, really good. They're slightly gritty feeling. You can use baby wipes too, but I really like these. And I'm going to get off this spilt resin.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
So I'm going to keep a really good eye on it. I'm going to pop the air bubbles. There's another gremlin. Periodically for about half an hour. And I'm not too worried about the little bubbles because I will sand down the resin tomorrow and then put one final clear coat on, and the next coat will be quite thin, so there'll be less chance of bubbles. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Okay, so that layer of resin has dried, and I'm gonna, oh, my daughter's visiting, so that's her voice in the background. I'm gonna zoom you in and you will see that there's air bubbles here and here. I'm gonna bring you in actually even more for a close-up. There's the big air bubble in the middle and over at the edge. So this is actually a good tip. So I'm going to dig this out with a scalpel. And the reason this air bubble came, and actually I thought it was going to happen on another part of this wood. Wood does get, I'm really hoping that no more air bubbles are going to get in here. And I'm going to dig out these with my X-Acto knife. And they're coming out nice and easily because this resin's still kind of flexy. And I've got some more around the edges as well. And what I might do for this one in the middle is take some quick drying resin and just put a coat right over that, because I've got a feeling that more bubbles are just going to keep popping up and that's going to drive me crazy. And then I'm going to sand this whole thing down and put one final coat of resin. Okay, so I'll be back in a sec. Everything is sanded and I've dug out the holes with my scalpel, and I'm not sure what's going to happen to these bubbles. I think they're going to be okay, and I'm going to sand the sides anyway and just paint a layer of resin on the sides. So I've mixed my resin, I mixed it in standing in a warm bath. When you do that, be really careful that you dry off the container, because you don't want any water drops to drip in. My sand is lovely and warm, and my resin is lovely and warm and very fluid. So I'm going to pour it down the middle and around the edges. And I'm going to use a soft silicone brush. I think the sides are going to be okay actually. Soft silicone spatula to move it around. And because this is a final coat, I'm going to babysit this and just keep popping bubbles, because like I said, this does take up a lot of resin, and you know, it's going to in an art show in June in Old Greenwich, June the 4th, if any of you are near that area, in Old Greenwich in Binney Park, and this table will be for sale. I'll advertise it on my YouTube channel before. So now my table is as straight as it can be, but what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to move this onto my floor, which I know is straight, and then I haven't got to worry about it being uneven. Make sure the corners are done. I'm just going to go around the edges. Okay, I'm going to pop the middle bubbles using my torch. And I'm going to do the edges using my heater. Because I don't want to damage my mold. More bubbles in the middle. Now I did the heat bath, the warm heat bath, to stand my container of resin in, because it does mean you get less bubbles. All right, so that is going to dry, and the last stage will be, I'm going to tidy up the edges. I'll do that off camera because that is really boring to watch, And the last stage will be to put the legs on. So we will be back. It's finished and it is absolutely gorgeous. I'm so happy with it. Here is its view with its hairpin legs, and I will give you an overview of it. The wood is absolutely gorgeous, super shiny, and it's really thick. So thanks for watching. This will not be on my Etsy store because it's too heavy to ship, unless somebody wants to contact me directly and offer to pay for the shipping. But thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.